What is up? It's the Shop Talk Podcast, and we're still live from the workbench. This is episode 16, Father's Day edition. We got a new song. It's not really new, though. About 15 years old. I made it a long time ago. And we got Kawhi Leonard demands a trade from the Spurs. Some news about that. And I want to say Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. And all the single mothers. But I don't mean like single like you're just a single mother. I mean like your son or child or daughter doesn't have a father. That's what I mean. So if you're a single mother, And we also have some changes to the podcast. And yes, this is still a podcast. So if you guys do have any suggestions or anything, if all my subscribers should probably continue listening to the end after I get done with the Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James, Paul George kind of stuff, to hear about any of the changes. And they can also reach me at shoptalkwithdrew@yahoo.com. Give me any suggestions that you think maybe any changes should occur, and what you think about even tonight's download. If you want, usually right about this time, I'd say if you want to listen to What's for Dinner, you just click through to a certain point. But the What's for Dinner will still be through iTunes. I'll get further into that. Just it'll still automatically download if you're subscribed. But stick around to hear more about that. Okay. And with the Kawhi Leonard demands a trade, I think that was all a bit of a surprise to everybody. But June 21st at 7 p.m. The NBA draft starts. Now, this is where you're going to see some stuff change. And you're going to see certain players want to go to certain places. And I'm sure some people already have their minds made up. We'll get more into that. July 1st is free agent moratorium begins. So they can start verbally agreeing to certain things with different teams. So I also failed to mention that we have a very special guest coming up later, right before I talk about the changes with the podcast. Not necessarily YouTube, because that doesn't matter. It's just the platform I'm going through. Whatever, that doesn't matter. We'll get more into it. So, I've heard a lot of people say about the Kawhi Leonard trade. I watch a lot of these rebuilds and whatnot on YouTube. And yeah, I don't get all my news from there. But, the Suns have been... Oh, okay, before I mention any teams, every single team wants Kawhi Leonard on their team. Every single team. Any team in this league right now, any general manager is trying to figure out any single way that they can get him. Yes, I think... when he does go to somewhere, if he goes somewhere, they're kind of getting him on the cheap. It's just the nature of the beast. The guy wants out, but they don't have to let him out. They can say, "Hey, he's still under, I believe, a year of contract, and it's not. He's not under a player, where he gets to decide whether he wants to stay there or not." So before we get into the teams, I want to just refresh everybody's memory of that. I know everybody doesn't know how the league works. I would like to think that I know about 70 or 80% of how the league works. I don't want to claim to know too much of it. And I don't know every single team's situation as far as cap and whatnot. And even if I did, this is not how it's going to play out. It's just like back when LeBron went to Miami. No one's seen it coming. And okay. Anyways, so I've heard people mention the Suns, the 76ers, because they do have a couple different trade matchups that they could trade for them. I kind of think the Clippers and the Celtics. There's even Denver's GM was on. It wasn't NBA TV today. He was on something. He was comparing. I wonder how he would match up on our team. Any of these teams in the league are trying, obviously, to get better, but to advance. And what better way to get it than Kawhi? The three kings in LA, LeBron, Kawhi, and Paul George, I just don't see it happen. Now, what would be really cool? Yeah, that would be really cool. And there is a way that it matches up trade-wise. Different teams would have to do different things to make it happen. Blah, blah, blah. Well, that doesn't matter. Do I think it will happen? No. Absolutely not. As I've said in previous episodes, I think LeBron's going back to Cleveland. I know I don't even know how to compare it to anything. It's really far away. Let's just put it that way. But another way to keep LeBron in Cleveland, people have said, bring in Kawhi Leonard. And that's kind of the lesser one that's talked about. Now, the Clippers, if he did go to the Clippers, I don't think anybody would see it coming. But it's still LA, and it's still where he wants to go. They still play in the Staples Center, which the Clippers rent out from the Lakers. At least they have for the last how many ever years. So I'm not even going to look into that one. The 76ers, yeah, that would be good for their organization and everything. Spurs would get more in return. Him going to the Lakers, though, I just don't know. But like I said, even if him and Paul George went to the Lakers, that would be really cool. I still don't think they would have enough to get over the hump of Golden State. Now, there's another issue, with are they going to sign Draymond Green, the donkey, to a max contract? Are all their players there going to fight over another contract? Or other players there going to... It just keeps... The list goes on and on and on. Now, him going to Denver, that would be cool. I mean, everybody has thrown out every scenario. But you know what I think would be really cool? If he would go to a team that nobody even... say like the Trailblazers. Now, that might put them over the top. Yeah, he wants to go to a place where he's going to win. I mean, obviously. I think it also has a little bit of the fact to do with Popovich. Now, with Kawhi leaving, is he, maybe even Popovich gets another contract with another team. Who knows? But you also got to remember, too, with Paul George and LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, all these guys through social media have got to talk. And they're probably not talking through social media, but they have personal contacts. I mean, hell, they got each other's phone numbers. They do. They're talking. One of these guys is going to make a move first. And that's what you're waiting for. I don't think you're necessarily just waiting for Kawhi Leonard. You're waiting for everybody here. Hell, LeBron's got Magic Johnson's number. You know that all these guys they're talking. And if they really want to get it done, they will. I really think this offseason is really overhyped. I mean, LeBron, even if another player doesn't go to that team, they don't go to Cleveland, which there's a little bit of a knock on LeBron that he's not getting other people to play with him. But you got to remember, when he went to the Heat, Dwayne Wade was already there. Got Chris Bosh to go with him. And look at that. And they were in the finals all the time. I mean, you got to look at the whole league as a whole. So we'll know when all these different puzzle pieces fall into place. And they'll start dropping like bricks one by one. And we'll know where these guys are going, slowly but surely. It's going to be a while. All these trade rumors, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to hear about it. And like I said earlier, I told you we were going to have a special guest come on to the show tonight. And without further ado... Put your headphones on. What? Oh, I forgot to mention, he's a heavy hitter. He's going to be a major league player one day. Tell him what your name is.
Josiah.
I thought it was Frank. Or Saya.
It's not.
Yeah, Frank.
It's not Frank.
Okay, that's just what your your baseball coach calls you, which I don't know why. So, how many hits did you have today, big hitter?
About 4.
About 4 or 4?
4.
4. Okay. Well, about 4 is like 3.5, and you don't have 3.5 hits.
Well.
Yeah.
When I was batting, I touched home plate 2 times, and
that means you got,
and there was 2
outs.
2
runs.
There was 2 outs, and
talk into the mic. Don't look at me.
Both of my teammates, they struck out.
Yeah, well,
2
that's
times.
what happens. And if they don't bat you in, they don't get an RBI. Runs batted in. And you would have had 2 runs.
I would have had...
So you got 4 hits. So how many times did you go to bat?
5.
5. So you know what you're batting for the day?
What?
800. That is fucking amazing. So, tell us all the golden question. What do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be either a NBA player or a
good luck
MLB player.
Ooh. I found out the other day I was watching a interview, and the guy was, I'm 5'8" and 1/4, and he was 5'8" and something. They listed him at 5'9", and I didn't know that 5'9" was short to be in the major leagues. So good luck. Good luck with all your future endeavors. Oh, do you know what Chi-Chi's means?
Stop.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I thought I had a bunch more questions for you.
Okay.
This is the Father's Day edition of the Shop Talk podcast. But
Shop Talk podcast.
Yeah, what do you want to say to everybody out there?
Like and subscribe.
Oh, nice. Or just subscribe on iTunes. We don't care about YouTube.
And turn on post notifications.
Oh, yeah, wow. Hold on just a second. Okay. So most of the podcast today was about Kawhi Leonard. Saya doesn't know who Kawhi Leonard is. That's okay. What do you think about the Cleveland Cavaliers?
I don't really feel good about them because they didn't win the finals.
Oh, yeah. No one feels good about it. I forgot to change that. I could go, Saya. You like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Saya.
Stop.
So, who's your favorite player in the NBA?
LeBron or J.R. Smith?
Oh, yeah. You like J.R. Swish, the Henny God. I like him, too. He used to be a great dunker back in the day when you were, like 4 or 3. Tell everybody how old you are.
I'm 7, and I'm almost 8.
Yeah, almost. Is it 7.5?
Yeah, 7.5.
Or 7 3/4?
7.5.
Do you know what chi-chis are?
Stop.
Okay. Well, we need to start recording this a whole lot earlier in the day, especially on a Saturday. But I want to where are all my Cleveland Cavalier fans at?
Who the fuck said that?
Yeah, he's laughing. Oh, Cleveland Cavalier fans. Yeah, Cleveland Cavalier fans.
Oh my God.
Who said that?
Yeah,
Stop, Dad.
they're my team. I don't know. I don't know what's in store for them this season, and hopefully everything will get a whole lot better. But tell them what position you play for baseball.
Play catcher,
Yeah,
left center, right center, and second base.
yeah. You know in the major leagues they don't have left center or right center. It's just center or left field or right field. But you're figuring all this stuff out. So I would like to introduce everybody to my son. And I know Keela, my other child, is out there listening somewhere in outer space. And I just want to say I love you. And your brother misses you, by the way. You can say something.
I hope you come to the party tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. She'll come to the party. Yeah, this is the Father's Day special. And then we're going to get into some different changes on the podcast. And we appreciate you guys out there listening. Rob Madden. No one knows who that is. It's all right, because no one listens to this anyways.
Well, I do.
And I forgot to mention that the whole time Saya was waiting to come down here and record, he farted right on the steps, and I had to walk right through it, and I wasn't very happy about it. But, what can you do? Anyways, so we have some changes in the podcast, in the format, which I didn't want to do, but I'm not that much of a tech person, and I don't know how. I'm using 2 different recording programs now. Before I was just using one. Because now you'll see on the What's for Dinner that it's an actual video of me making the food. Whereas before I was just saying it and telling you how to do it. Well, I don't have a ton of subscribers on YouTube, which is fine. And I didn't expect to. The way I did the podcast was for me to do it for free. That way I could bring content to people on iTunes with a podcast. And this was the only way I knew to upload it. Well, people, of course, on YouTube, they don't want to hear you do a recipe over audio. No matter how good that audio is, they don't want to hear it. That's fine. So I decided to actually make video of what's for dinner, and there's an actual what's for dinner channel on YouTube now. And I would really appreciate if everyone would go out there and like and subscribe to that. But I will continue to put up the video on iTunes. That way everybody, if they don't want to watch it, it's still iTunes. You can listen to it, and I'll walk you through the steps of it, of what we're cooking. And the new video is jalapeno poppers, bacon wrap jalapeno poppers. And I would really appreciate it if everybody went and downloaded that video. But at the same time, I don't know, because I used to clip them together, clip the audio together, which was really easy. I spent a lot of time making the video, and it was actually a lot more difficult than I thought it was going to be. And I failed to mention that Saya still wanted to sit here, and because, he thinks it's cool. But he's getting a big kick out, so why not? It is, just the greatest day in the world. I mean, Father's Day. Jeez. Anyways, so I wanted him to go upstairs, though, because I wanted to cuss and scream up a muck and make a living. But he wants to sit here and listen to it, and I don't think his mom minds. But anyways, so just with that, I got that going on. I got a lot of different things going on. I know some techie people, or not techie people, won't get it, but I didn't know if I screwed up the RSS feed, which I don't think I did, because the subscribers are still there on iTunes, which I appreciate everybody listening. It's just been a really stressful time for me, and I don't want to be negative or put anybody in a bad mood or anything like that. I know how that's, it can be toxic and stuff like that. It's just been really rough the last few weeks, and of course, if you've listened to the podcast before, you know that I still have a baby. He's not one yet. He's like 10 months old, but he's premature, so he's corrected. And I don't know, just a lot of time-consuming things. I screwed up all my sleep and sleeping real late, and that's been taking a toll on everything. And I always used to get up a lot earlier than everything, and I don't know. But I want everybody to check out the YouTube if you can. I don't know, because, again, it's two different channels. It's the Shop Talk Podcast YouTube channel, and it's the What's for Dinner with a question mark, just how it's spelled, all the spaces in between it, just like a sentence. And same way with the Shop Talk Podcast. Like a sentence, spaces in between it. That's how you search it. And that's if you want to continue to listen to the What's for Dinner part of it. And I want everybody to know that I don't want to screw up the format of it, so I'm going to still put it under the Shop Talk Podcast. That way it will still go to my feed. That way it'll still go to my iTunes. And that way everybody can still see it if they like. And let's see. I really do appreciate everybody out there that's listening to me. And the boy. The home run hitter. Well, not yet. 800. Batting 800. If you could bat 800. If you could bat 250, you could play in the minor leagues all day long. If you're a catcher, you can bat 250 and play in the major leagues for just about any ball club. But that doesn't matter. So, I just had to. For my Cleveland Cavalier fans, that's how we all feel. But we'll see how this offseason pans out. I appreciate everybody out there. Check out the video. Again, I don't know if it will be posted before the podcast or after the podcast, but all you have to do if you're in iTunes is either check available episodes if it's one or the other. And, of course, you won't know that if I post it after this. So, but I do want everyone to check it out. You guys have a good weekend. Happy Father's Day to all the real fathers out there. And you guys have a good weekend. Take care.
Can it be that it was all so simple then? Got me thinking, I remember the time. Can it be that it was all so simple then? Ain't no changing what's left. Can it be that it was all so simple then? Because we all race against death. Can it be that it was all so simple then? Got me thinking, I remember the time. Can it be that it was all so simple?